Am I audible to all of you? Okay. Okay, thank you. We are going to start with new topic today. We are going to talk about the fats. Okay. So as far as fats are concerned, if you see distribution of fats, okay, they are very widely distributed. They are widely distributed in the nature, and the characteristic features that are related with the fats as far as chemistry aspect is concerned is related with their solubility. Okay, so they are soluble in chloroform, benzene, and other solvents, and as far as water is concerned, they are insoluble in water. Our concern is not with this solubility aspect. Okay, we are supposed to understand the aspect that are related with the fats which we consume in our diet. Okay, so there are two important things that we are supposed to know. One is fats and second is oils. Okay, so fats and oils. Now how we are going to identify this? Okay, so just simple thing is there. What we are supposed to see is consistency, or you can say physical state. Okay, and this we see at 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, at 20 degrees Celsius, what we see is consistency or the physical state. Now, if at 20 degrees Celsius we find that presence of solid state, okay, so if it is in solid state, we'll call it as fats. Okay, and if it is in liquid state, we are going to call these as oils. Okay, so what we said, at 20 degrees Celsius we see the consistency. If it is solid, we are saying these are fats, and if it is liquid, we are saying these are oils. Okay, is it clear with two terminologies? Now one more thing is lipids. Okay, when we talk about oils and fats, you must know lipids. Now as far as lipids are concerned, what are lipids? From chemistry aspect, what you can say, these are esters. Okay, lipids are esters, and these are esters of fatty acids. These are esters of fatty acids. Okay, we are talking about fatty acids. Okay, and how ester is formed? Basically, whenever an alcohol combines with acid, okay, water molecule is removed and we can get ester. Okay, so यहाँ पे whenever we'll talk about lipids, the ester part, okay, or the acid part which is present in the ester will always be fatty acids. Okay, so esterification will occur with fatty acids. Okay, so what we said regarding lipids, they are esters of fatty acids, and ester, it is a compound which is formed when alcohol and acid combines and water molecule is removed. Okay, so in lipids, the acids that are added, these are fatty acids. Okay, now regarding classification of these lipids or classification of these fats or oils. Okay, so as far as classification is concerned, just three important terms we are going to use. These are simple lipids. Okay, we are going to call these as simple lipids, or you can say these are compound lipids. Okay, these are compound lipids, or the third term, these are derived lipids. Okay, so similarly for proteins we discussed, but instead of compound we just said conjugated. Okay, simple proteins, conjugated proteins, and derived proteins. Same way for lipid classification, what we are using is simple lipids or compound lipids and derived lipids. Okay, what is example of simple lipids? As far as simple lipids is concerned, most important example here is triglycerides. Okay, it is triglycerides. As far as compound lipid is concerned, this is phospholipid. This is phospholipid. Okay, and as far as derived lipids are concerned and its example is concerned, it is cholesterol. Okay, this is cholesterol. Okay, so what we said, the fats, oils or lipids we can classify as simple, compound and derived. Example under simple lipid is triglycerides. Example under compound lipids are phospholipids, and example under derived lipids is cholesterol. Okay, so first we will talk about triglycerides. Okay, so as far as triglycerides are concerned, mainly what we said, how lipids are formed, this is alcohol and acid. So acid is clear, okay, so fatty acids. And as far as alcohol is concerned, so triglycerides mainly, these are esters. These are esters of glycerol. These are, the alcohol part here is glycerol. Okay, these are esters of glycerol with fatty acids. Now what happens, this glycerol, it contains three alcoholic group. It contains three alcoholic group. Now, when triglycerides are formed, all these three alcoholic groups, they get replaced by fatty acids. So we can say these are R1, R2 and R3. Okay, three different fatty acids. Three alcoholic group will get replaced by three different fatty acids. Okay, so what we said, what are triglycerides? These are esters of glycerols with fatty acids. Okay, three alcoholic groups of glycerol. It undergoes esterification with three different fatty acids. Okay, with three different fatty acids. Now, as far as human body is concerned, where we can find these triglycerides. Okay, so as far as presence of triglycerides in our body is concerned, triglycerides mainly we can find in subcutaneous fat. So whatever subcutaneous fat is there, here we can find triglycerides. In addition, we can find it in omentum. Okay, so or whatever fat is there surrounding the viscera. Okay, omentum. And in addition to this, the most important thing, or as far as presence of triglycerides in our body is concerned, okay, so 99%, we are talking about 99% of body fat. Okay, so out of total body fat, out of total body fat, 99% of body fat, it is present in adipose tissues. It is present in adipose tissues. Okay, and this fat which is present mainly in adipose tissues, it is in the form of triglycerides. Okay, so triglycerides, whatever subcutaneous fat is there, whatever omentum is there in relation to viscera, you can say like that. And in relation to specific tissues, what we can say, out of total body fats, major portion of fats, it is stored in adipose tissues. Okay, and this is stored in the form of triglycerides. Okay, we are talking about simple lipids, triglycerides. Now, as far as dietary sources are concerned, from where we can get triglycerides? As far as triglycerides are concerned, we can get it from animal fat. Okay, so as far as animal food is concerned, we can get it from animal fat. So from animal fat, it can be the fat which is present in mutton. It can be mutton fat. Okay, or it can be pork fat, or it can be the beef fat. okay, or it can be milk fat. Okay, so whatever fat which is present in animal food, we are calling it as either mutton fat, pork fat, okay, or it is beef fat, or it is milk fat. Okay, in addition to what we consume is ghee. Okay, so as far as ghee is concerned, ghee is another important source, okay, from where we can get triglycerides. So it's animal fat, it's ghee from vegetable food, and sorry, from animal food as far as milk product is concerned, and as far as vegetable oils are concerned, okay, there are few vegetable oils that mainly they contains triglycerides. Okay, this is mustard oil, this is mustard oil, and another is groundnut oil. This is groundnut oil. Okay, so animal foods are there, whatever fat content of animal food is there, from there we can get triglycerides. From milk fat as well as from ghee we can get triglycerides, and most of the triglycerides we can get from vegetable oils, okay, like mustard oil or groundnut oil. Now regarding compound lipids, as far as compound lipids is concerned, the most important example here is phospholipids. Okay. Now, what we said for triglycerides, glycerol containing three alcohol group, and all three, okay, will get esterified with the fatty acids. Now, as far as phospholipids are concerned, what happens? Two alcoholic groups, they get esterified with two fatty acids, okay, and the one is esterified with phosphoric acid. Okay, that's why we are calling these as phospholipids. Okay, this is phosphoric acid. This is just chemistry aspect, is additional information. Okay, so what we said, whenever we are talking about phospholipids, out of total three alcoholic groups, two groups they are esterified with fatty acids, whereas the third group, it is esterified with the phosphoric acid. Now as far as phospholipids or compound lipids and their presence in our body is concerned, there are different phospholipids which are present in our body, but just I will mention here one important example. It is sphingomyelins. Okay, you these are sphingomyelins. Okay, where you do you find sphingomyelins? These are mainly present in myelin sheath. Okay, so phospholipids forming important part in our body. The last thing we said is derived lipids, and in derived lipids it is important is cholesterol. Okay, regarding cholesterol we'll talk later on. Okay, so cholesterol is part of derived lipids. So regarding classification, simple triglycerides. Okay, so don't forget 99% of body fat which is stored in adipose tissue, it is in the form of triglycerides. These triglycerides we can obtain from diet also. Okay, and animal foods are there, as well as mustard oil and groundnut oils, other oils are there from which we can get triglycerides. As far as phospholipids is concerned, important aspect is presence of phospholipids in the form of sphingomyelins in myelin sheath. Okay, and derived lipid is cholesterol. Now what are fatty acids? So regarding composition, what we said, ki there is esterification with fatty acids. Okay, now when we hydrolyze, if we do hydrolysis, okay, हाइड्रोलिसिस करेंगे, ब्रेक डाउन करेंगे ऑफ फैट्स. ओके, अगर हम फैट्स को हाइड्रोलाइज करेंगे, हाइड्रोलिसिस ऑफ फैट्स, ओके, what it will do, it produce fatty acids. Okay, one of the product will definitely be fatty acids always. So how we can get fatty acids? Fatty acids, they are obtained by hydrolysis of fats. Okay, and whatever fatty acids are there, these fatty acids, they are divided into two. Now these terminologies are important. They are divided into saturated fatty acids. Okay, saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, so what we said, on hydrolysis of fat we can get fatty acids, and these fatty acids, they are divided again into two: saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, first we will talk about saturated fatty acids. From where our body can get these saturated fatty acids as far as dietary sources is concerned. Okay, so whenever we consume animal fat, okay, so right now we talked about mutton fat, pork fat, beef fat. Okay, so whenever animal fats are consumed, that time whatever fatty acids are provided to our body, they are mainly saturated fatty acids. Okay, so saturated fatty acids, the most important source for us as far as diet is concerned, these are animal sources. Okay, so as far as vegetable sources are concerned, so are there any vegetable sources? If we consume this, our body will get saturated fatty acids. Okay, so from vegetable sources there are only two oils which are rich in saturated fatty acids. Okay, so one is coconut oil, and second is palm oil. Okay, so as far as palm oil and coconut oil is concerned, they are comparatively rich in saturated fatty acids. So consumption of these oils can also provide us saturated fatty acids. In addition, you should know that these saturated fatty acids can be synthesized in our body. Okay, so right now what we can say regarding saturated fatty acids, there is endogenous synthesis as well as there are exogenous sources. So as far as exogenous sources is concerned, most important are animal foods, okay, which are providing us saturated fats. As far as vegetable sources is concerned, two important oils are there which can provide saturated fatty acids. These are coconut oil and second example is palm oil. Okay, regarding unsaturated fatty acids, as far as unsaturated fatty acids are concerned, these unsaturated fatty acids, again we are dividing it into two parts. Okay, so we are talking about unsaturated fatty acids, and unsaturated fatty acids we are again divided it into, this is mono unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, so what you can say, MUFAs are mono unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, and second criteria of dividing unsaturated fatty acids, these are poly unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, PUFAs. Okay, so what we said, once we hydrolyze fats, we are getting fatty acids. These fatty acids, we said saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, and unsaturated fatty acids, further we divided it into mono unsaturated fatty acids and poly unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, so what is difference as far as saturated fatty acids is concerned? Okay, saturated fatty acids, they do not contain double bond. Okay, so as far as their structure is concerned, they do not contain double bond. As far as unsaturated fatty acids are concerned, they contains double bond, and the number of double bond, it may vary. Okay, so it can be only one double bond, or it can be 2, 3 or 4 double bonds. Okay, so if only one double bond is present, such fatty acids we are going to call as mono unsaturated fatty acids. Okay, And if 2, 3 or 4 double bonds are present, we are going to call these as polyunsaturated fatty acids. Is it clear? This is just concerned with the number of double bonds that are present in polyunsaturated fatty acids, and the double bonds are not present in saturated fatty acids. Okay, what are examples? The practical aspect to understand is what are various examples of MUFAs and PUFAs. As far as monounsaturated fatty acids is concerned, MUFAs are concerned, the most important example is this is oleic acid. This is oleic acid. Okay, so oleic acid is important example of MUFA, and oleic acid will contain only one double bond. Okay, as far as PUFAs are concerned, okay, if two double bonds are present, the example is linoleic acid. This is linoleic acid. Okay, this is abbreviated as La. Okay, this is abbreviated as La, that is linoleic acid. Linoleic acid, it contains two double bonds. Okay, so this is example of polyunsaturated fatty acid. If we take another example, this is linolenic acid. Linolenic acid, or it is also called as alpha linolenic acid. Okay, so this is abbreviated as ALA. Okay, alpha linolenic acid, or simply you can say linolenic acid. Okay, linolenic acid, it contains three double bonds. Okay, now there is one more possibility, presence of four double bonds. Okay, what is example of PUFAs containing four double bond? You might have heard this name in physiology. This is arachidonic acid. This is arachidonic acid. Okay, so we said examples under MUFA, it is oleic acid. Examples under PUFAs, even if you don't memorize the number of double bonds, don't forget the names. Okay, it is linoleic acid, alpha linolenic acid, or it is arachidonic acid. Okay, so these are the important examples under PUFAs. Okay, is it clear with saturated fatty acids, unsaturated fatty acids, how we divided it into MUFA and PUFA as far as unsaturated fatty acids is concerned? Okay, now there is one more concept that is related with fatty acids is essential fatty acids. Okay, as far as essential fatty acids is concerned, it is related with the synthesis. Okay, so those fatty acids which are not synthesized in our body and that must be taken from the outside food, we are going to call such fatty acids as essential fatty acids. Okay, so what we said, our body won't be able to synthesize these fatty acids. Okay, and hence they must be supplied from the diet. Okay, so these are called as essential fatty acids. Okay, so as far as examples under essential fatty acids is concerned, okay, so most important example here is I am going to repeat three names once again. Okay, three names once again. Linoleic acid. So we said about linoleic acid. We said about alpha linoleic acid and arachidonic acid. Okay, arachidonic acid. All these are essential fatty acids. In addition to these, there are two more names. Okay, as far as essential fatty acids are concerned, this is eicosapentaenoic acid. This is eicosapentaenoic acid. Okay, this is abbreviated as EPA. This is abbreviated as EPA. So EPA, that is eicosapentaenoic acid, This is example of essential fatty acids. Okay, these acids we must get from diet. And there is one more name. This is docosahexaenoic acid. Docosahexaenoic acid. Okay, this is abbreviated as DHA. Okay, so right now you know 5 examples of essential fatty acids. We said linoleic acid, alpha linolenic acid. Okay, we said arachidonic acid, we said eicosapentaenoic acid, and we said docosahexaenoic acid. Okay, you just permit me to end this meeting and please rejoin again. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we are discussing essential fatty acids. Right now, you know there are 5 important examples under essential fatty acids: linoleic acid, alpha linolenic acid, arachidonic acid, eicosapentaenoic acid, and docosahexaenoic acid. Now again, these PUFAs, okay, if you talk about these PUFAs, they are further, there are two further families, okay, which is called as omega 6, okay, which is called as omega 6. This is just mentioned in KPARC as N6 and omega 3, okay. So there are two important families, omega 6 fatty acids and omega 3 fatty acids. Now as far as omega-6 fatty acids and omega-3 fatty acids is concerned, whatever examples we have seen under essential fatty acids, we are going to divide it. Okay, so total 5 examples we have seen. Out of that, the 2 examples, that is linoleic acid, and arachidonic acid. Okay, linoleic and arachidonic acid, these are omega 6 fatty acids or N6 fatty acids. And as far as N3 fatty acids are concerned, remaining 3 examples, that is alpha linolenic acid, eicosapentaenoic acid, and docosahexaenoic acid. So here what we said is alpha linoleic acid, eicosapentaenoic acid, okay, and docosahexaenoic acid. Okay, so PUFAs, further 2 families, omega 6 N6, omega 3 N3. Okay, examples under omega 6 is linoleic acid and arachidonic acid. Examples under omega 3 N3, alpha linolenic acid, eicosapentaenoic acid, and docosahexaenoic acid. What are the various sources as far as these essential fatty acids is concerned? Okay, so first we will see from which food we can get these essential fatty acids, because already we said these essential fatty acids won't be synthesized in our body, and so it is very important that we must get these essential fatty acids from food. Okay, so basically as far as these essential fatty acids are concerned, okay, the plant foods, if we talk about plant foods like cereals, millets, oil seeds, okay, so they contains both MUFA as well as PUFA. Okay, so when we consume different cereals, millets, and oil seeds, okay, important is oil seeds, we can get linoleic acid. And as far as pulses, legumes, soybean it is concerned, or mustard seeds is concerned, in addition to linoleic acid, we can get alpha linolenic acid. Okay. So as far as linoleic and linolenic acids, these 2 acids are concerned, plant food, okay, cereals, millets, oilseeds, pulses, soybean, they can provide these fatty acids. But what is the most important dietary source? Okay, so as far as important dietary source is concerned, these are mainly vegetable oils. So just in one words, we can say these are mainly vegetable oils. Okay, but here you are supposed to know vegetable oils, which vegetable oils are rich in which essential amino acids, or consumption of particular oils, okay, whether it provides PUFAs or not. We are talking here about essential fatty acids. Okay, majority of essential fatty acids are PUFAs. So as far as linoleic acid is concerned, we are talking about linoleic acid. Okay, so whenever we consume linoleic acid, okay, or the vegetable oils like safflower oil, okay, this is safflower oil, this is the rich source, okay, followed by corn oil, followed by corn oil, okay, then it's sunflower oil. Okay, so that's why initially I said these are vegetable oils, but if you want to go for ranking, okay, it's soybean oil, it's soybean oil. Okay, we are talking only about oils, huh? Then it is sesame, this is sesame oil. Okay, then comes the rank of groundnut oil. Okay, then comes groundnut, then mustard, and at the end there will be palm oil and there will be coconut oil. because regarding these oils, already we said they are comparatively rich in saturated fatty acids. Okay, so at the end there will be palm or coconut oil. Okay, so if sources specifically, if we see of linoleic acid, which is one of the essential fatty acids, okay, belonging to omega 6 fatty acids, right? We can get it mainly from different vegetable oils. Okay, it is safflower, corn oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, sesame, then groundnut, mustard, and finally it's palm and coconut oil. Okay, as far as linolenic acid and oil is concerned, the most important source for this is soybean oil. Okay, this is soybean oil. Okay, as far as arachidonic acid is concerned, arachidonic acid mainly we get it from milk fat. Okay, so whatever milk fat is there, there is one source. It's meat, it's eggs, okay, which can provide arachidonic acid, right? Now what remains is the eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid. So as far as these eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acids are concerned, the most important source for this is fish, or you can say fish oils. Okay, fish or fish oils. This is the most important source as far as the last two essential fatty acids, that is EPA and DHA, are concerned. Okay, so these are the various sources. So just in one keyword you can say there are different vegetable oils, okay, which can provide linoleic acid and alpha linolenic acid. As far as arachidonic acid is concerned, these are mainly animal sources. Okay, for DHA, EPA, again animal, but it is mainly fish. Okay. What are various sources of animal fats? So basically, there is one more thing that we are going to cover in practical aspect as far as the different oils, their content related with MUFAs, PUFAs, and SFAs is concerned. Okay, so right now I just won't go in details of that. That we will discuss later on. Now regarding sources of fats, as far as sources are concerned, so first you can mention about animal fats. Okay, different animal fats already we have discussed for triglycerides. Okay, so the major sources, it includes meat, it includes milk fat. Okay, so when we talk about milk fat, here I am talking about whole milk with cream. Okay, we are talking about cream. Okay, in addition to this, ghee and butter, as far as ghee, butter, cheese is concerned, they are also good sources for fats. Okay, then it's fat of fish. If the fish contains large amount of fat, even that can supply fats. Okay, now as far as eggs is concerned, when we consume egg, this is good source. As far as egg is concerned, this is good source for linoleic acid, alpha linolenic acid, as well as DHA. Okay, but DHA is present in small amount. It is mainly LA and ALA. Okay, as far as fish is concerned, if we talk about the fish and the fats, okay, so right now we said this is good source for eicosapentaenoic acid, that essential fatty acids which we can get, or it is docosahexaenoic acid, or simply you can say fish, it is a rich source for PUFA, or you can say specific essential fatty acids that we can get. Okay, another important thing, if we talk about poultry meat, okay, so as far as poultry meat is concerned, it has less fat. Okay, it has less fat, but it has high amount of PUFA. Okay, so this is again good source as far as PUFA is concerned. Even the cholesterol content is less. Okay, so regarding animal sources, if at all you are interested, you can mention the names of the essential fatty acids that we can get, or simply you can mention different animal sources. Regarding vegetable sources, so as far as vegetables is concerned, all those vegetables which stores oil in their seeds, okay, which stores fat, rather what we are supposed to say is fats, okay, which stores fat, and where this fat is stored, it is in the seeds, okay, or the same thing what we can say, these are oil bearing seeds, okay, different oil bearing seeds. So whatever plant seeds are there where fat it is stored in their seeds, we can call these as oil bearing seeds, and from these seeds we can get fats, okay. So for example, if we take groundnuts and extract oil, okay, we will get groundnut oil, which is important source for fat, okay. Same way we can take coconut and we can have coconut oil, okay. So whatever oil bearing seeds are there, just in one word we can say these are the important vegetable sources for fats, okay. And these vegetable oils, if we talk about vegetable oils, and again saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids, okay. So mainly vegetable oils, they will mainly provide unsaturated fatty acids, okay. Just one exception you are supposed to know, it is coconut oil and palm oil, because coconut oil and palm oil, they will mainly supply saturated fatty acids, okay. So this is one source, animal fat. Second source is vegetable fat. Third source, where the small quantities, okay, this is given under the heading as other sources. So I think K Park has used the heading other sources. So here whatever invisible whatever invisible fat is present in different plant foods like cereals, pulses, nuts, vegetables, okay. So these are also sources for fats. So we can get fats from animal foods, mainly from vegetable oils, and third, whatever cereals, pulses, nuts, vegetables that we consume in our diet, we can get it from these foods also, okay. And don't forget endogenous synthesis, okay. So they can be synthesized in our body whenever excess carbohydrate is there, okay. So that may get converted into fat, okay. So body can convert carbohydrate into fats, okay. So as far as sources is concerned, there are four important headings. We said animal fats, vegetable fats, other sources, and conversion of carbohydrate into fats. Yeah, this is important thing as far as your exams are concerned. This is frequently asked 2 mark question, okay. Now we are going to talk about visible fats and invisible fats, okay. Visible fats and invisible fats, simple concept is there. As far as visible fats is concerned, okay, so visible fats are those fats which can be separated, okay, which can be separated from their natural sources, okay. So whatever natural source is there, if we separate these from natural sources, we are going to call it as visible fats, okay. So if I will give you example, you can easily understand. If we are having milk, and from that milk we prepare ghee, okay. So what we did, we separated ghee from its natural source, that is milk, okay. Similarly butter from milk, okay. Or if we take oil bearing seeds like groundnut seeds, or if we take mustard seeds, okay, and we extract oil from these, okay, these are called as visible fats, okay. So the criteria, the most important word here is separation. What we do here is those fats which are separated from their natural sources are called as visible fats, okay. So examples, what we consume in our diet as far as visible fats is concerned, it is mainly ghee, different vegetable oils. Okay, so these are all examples of visible fats. As far as invisible fats is concerned, so these are the fats which are not visible. Okay, which are not visible to the naked eye. Okay, to the, सो हमें ये दिखने वाले नहीं है. ओके, सो all those foods which are not visible to the naked eye are called as invisible fats. And right now we talked about the in sources, invisible fats. Okay, so whatever fats that are present in cereals, whatever fats that are present in pulses, okay, nuts, or even some other plant sources. Okay, we are going to call these as invisible fats. So criteria is very simple, and the question is frequently asked. So visible fats, separation from natural sources. Invisible fats, not visible to our eyes. Okay, so whatever fats that are present in rice, jowar, bajra, and different pulses, okay, these fats are invisible fats. Yeah, one more thing which is related with the fats is hydrogenation. Now, what is hydrogenation? So, for hydrogenation, our process, it starts with vegetable oils. Okay, so it starts with vegetable oils. Now, what is done in this process? The vegetable oils, they are subjected to particular temperature, pressure, some catalyst, they are also added. Okay, so certain conditions we are going to follow related with the temperature aspect, related with the pressure, related with addition of catalyst. Okay, now what happens after this? Once vegetable oils, they are subjected to all these things, these vegetable oils, they get converted into semi solid or solid consistency. Okay, now here, you know, all vegetable oils, if you see different vegetable oils, they are liquid. Okay, they are in liquid state. Now whenever hydrogenation is done, this physical state changes. Okay, so these liquid vegetable oils, they get converted into semi solid or solid fats. Okay, so liquid to solid is one change. Okay, and another important change that occurs, so here right now, you know, vegetable oils, they are rich in PUFAs. Okay, mainly we'll get polyunsaturated fatty acids from these vegetable oils. But once this conversion is done, once these vegetable oils, they are converted into solid or semi solid fats, there is one more nutritional change occurs. These PUFAs, whatever polyunsaturated fatty acids which are present in vegetable oils, they get converted into saturated fatty acids. Okay, so this is the important nutritional change that happens ड्यूरिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ हाइड्रोजनेशन. हाइड्रोजनेशन में हमने क्या किया, लिक्विड वेजिटेबल ऑयल को कन्वर्ट किया सॉलिड स्टेट में. ओके, न्यूट्रिशनल चेंज क्या हुआ है, जो पूफास है दैट विल गेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू सैचुरेटेड फैटी एसिड्स. ओके, and the product, the solid or semi solid product which we get at the end of hydrogenation, okay, to this we call it as, this is called as vanaspati. Okay, or vanaspati ghee, or it is called as vegetable ghee. Okay, now I hope you should be able to recall vanaspati. Okay, vanaspati already we talked in relation to some vitamins. Okay, two important vitamins where we used these vanaspati as source of these vitamins. Okay, now the another aspect which is related with vanaspati or vegetable ghee, how it is prepared, it is prepared by process of hydrogenation. Okay, in the process of hydrogenation, liquid vegetable oils, they get converted into solid or semi-solid fats, and these are nothing but vanaspati and vegetable ghee. Now what are various advantages that are related with the vanaspati? Okay, so as far as vanaspati or vegetable ghee is concerned, it has ghee like consistency. Okay, if you see consistency of ghee and if you see consistency of vanaspati, okay, or vegetable ghee, they are having similar consistency. Okay, but if you see economical aspect, the cost of ghee is more as compared to the cost of vanaspati. Okay, so cost differs, consistency is same. Okay, then another important thing, this vanaspati ghee, the quality, we can preserve it for longer period. Okay, so it can be preserved for longer period even if there is humid climate. Okay, so basically what happens, rancidity is one of the important thing which is concerned with fats and oils. And as far as vanaspati is concerned, we can preserve it for longer period even during hot climate or even during humid climate. Okay, and most important thing which is related with vanaspati ghee is, this is fortified. Okay, this is fortified with, can anyone of you tell me name of vitamins? Anyone interested? Yes, it is fortified with A and D. Okay, so we can get vitamin A and vitamin D from vanaspati. Okay, but another important change regarding hydrogenation you should not forget is conversion of PUFAs to saturated fatty acids. Okay, so that is the important change which occurs during hydrogenation. Okay, so is it clear with the hydrogenation? One more thing is there which is concerned with the refining. Okay, so as far as refined oils are concerned, these oils, basically refining is what, it is a process, and this process, it improves quality of the oils and it also improves taste of the oils. Okay, now what is done in this process, the raw oils. Okay, if we take raw oils, these raw oils, they are treated with steam and they are treated with alkali. Okay, so after this treatment, the refining, what it does, it removes whatever free fatty acids are there. Okay, whatever free fatty acids are there in raw oil, or whatever rancid material is there. Okay, so there is removal of free fatty acids, there is removal of rancid material, but there is no change as far as PUFAs or MUFAs is concerned. Okay, like in hydrogenation, we said PUFAs will get converted to saturated fats. Okay, so this thing will not happen in refining. So refining, it will just improve the quality. Okay, and it will remove free fatty acids and rancid material from the raw oil. Okay, it's my kind request to CR. Please start with attendance. Jayesh is present. Ruman, Jayesh is present. Hmm. She is present. She is present. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Thank you.